Before performing any experiment, it is important to put on safety goggles. Before using a pipette, you should always rinse it 3 times with deionized water and then 3 more times with the solution you are using. This process is called priming. After you've completed this process, place the pipette into the solution, squeeze the pipette bulb, and place it on top of the pipette. Slowly release the bulb to draw the solution into the pipette. While the pipette is still in the solution, remove the bulb and quickly place your finger on the top. Read the pipette at eye level by looking at the meniscus, which is the curved surface that is formed at the top of a column of water due to surface tension. Always record your data 1 decimal place farther than what you read. This is the uncertainty. Record the initial volume into your lab notebook. Now release some of the liquid from the pipette into a beaker by releasing your finger. Then replace your finger and read and record new data. This is your final volume. Release the remaining liquid into the beaker. To calculate the volume delivered, subtract the final volume from the initial volume. It is important to always record your data in milliliters. Now watch as Nikki performs the same experiment. As before, it is always important to wear safety goggles. Before using the pipette, she primed it by rinsing it 3 times with deionized water and 3 more times with the solution she is using. Now Nikki will read the bottom of the meniscus and record her data in her lab notebook. Now she will release some of the liquid into a beaker and record a second volume by reading the bottom of the meniscus. Remember, it is important to record your data in milliliters when using a pipette. Now she will release the remaining liquid and calculate the volume transferred. Now you know how to correctly use a pipette. As previously stated, it is important to always wear safety goggles when performing any experiment. Before using the balanced, you must tare it to 0. Then open the door, place the beaker on the balance, and close the door to ensure that the wind does not influence the accuracy of the measurement. Wait for the balance to settle and record the mass of your beaker in your lab notebook. Now remove the beaker and add the solution to the beaker using a pipette. Open the door and place the beaker of liquid onto the balance. Shut the door and wait for the balance to settle. Record your data in your lab notebook. This is your final mass. Remove the beaker from the balance and shut the door. To calculate the mass of your liquid, subtract the mass of the beaker from the final mass. Record the final mass into your lab notebook. Don't forget to record your mass in grams. Now watch as Nikki performs the same experiment. Like always, it is important to wear safety goggles when performing any experiment. Again, you must tare the balance to 0 before use. Now she will open the door and place the beaker on the balance to measure the mass of the beaker. She has shut the door to ensure that no external factors influence the accuracy of the balance. Now she is recording the mass of the beaker into her lab notebook. She has removed the beaker, and now she will transfer some solution with a pipette into the other beaker. Now she will determine the mass of the liquid and the beaker together and record it into her lab notebook. This is her final mass. Now she will remove the beaker and calculate the mass of her liquid by subtracting the mass of the beaker from her final mass. And now you know how to properly use a balance. Now let's review how to read a meniscus. When reading the meniscus, you should always read it from the bottom, as indicated here. When reading the pipette, count backwards. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 0.51 would be an accurate reading.